Hey guys, Marissa at KitchenTableStamper.com. Today I have got a new box for you. Well, it's not necessarily a new one. You might have seen this one before. It holds 2 of these little Hostess Bundt cakes, or our new design has space for this twin wrapped Little Debbie cakes. We've got the fall party cakes. I found these at my discount store, and there are tons of Little Debbie twin wrapped cake options. The zebra cakes, they do these seasonally. I'm looking forward to seeing the trees at Christmas time, see if they fit. All right, so our with a Grateful Heart cake box has a little belly band here. It slides right off and flip top, and cakes fit right in. You can use this box over and over and over again with your choice of cake treats and all the wonderful seasonal flavors and shapes that are offered. All right, let's get started with this. We're going to make our base from Early Espresso cardstock, and it is 8 by 10. Get my Simply Score tool and a template. It's a super simple box. If you find out other treats that fit, please let us know. Share your treat boxes on the Kitchen Table Stamper Craft Social. We love to see what you're up to. We're gonna put this in on the 8-inch side. And the first thing we're gonna do is score at 1 1/4 on both 8-inch sides. Then we'll rotate and score at 2 3/4, 4, 6 3/4, and 8. We're going to work it with a bone folder and trim it according to the template. All right, and it's a nice big box. I'm sure lots of fun gifts would fit. Before you start trimming, you want to make sure that you have this 2 3/4 inch panel in your left hand. This end one, this is the little flap, and this is the more narrow panel. All right, so you see I've got the narrow panel to my right. And what we're gonna do is we're going to start with this first score line all the way on the bottom left, and we're gonna cut the glue tab. So we want to angle on the square, straight on the rectangle, and remove that. Now we're gonna go straight along this big rectangle and angle on the square here. That gives us our bottom tabs. Now let's switch to the other side of the box and do the same thing with these first 2 score lines from the right. We're going to straight along the rectangle, angle on the glue tab, and then same thing here. We'll angle on the glue tab and go straight along the rectangle. Now we're going to turn this box so that this narrow panel here faces, and we're going to cut down 2 score lines. This is nice and straight here on this side. Just cut the score line off, and then you're going to cut across on this intersecting score line here. And then this is your glue or your tuck tab to close the top of the box. So you're going to cut just a gentle little angle cut there, or you can round the corners, whichever you prefer. But you do want to taper this just a little bit so that it closes more smoothly. All right, same thing on this side. We're gonna go on the inside of the score, cut down nice and straight, past the first score line and to the second one. Then we're going to cut off at this score and just taper this up a little bit. And that is our base. Let's get some tear and tape adhesive so we can put this together. Of course, you can use liquid glue to put it together if you like. I'm not going to round my tuck tabs on this one, but I am going to round the corners of my outside flap. I'm going to use my We Are corner rounder, and I'm going to do the 1/4 inch side. And just pop that in, give it a nice finish for the outside flap. While we've got our corner rounder, before we assemble, let's go ahead and corner round our pebbled path layer. You're gonna do the bottom corners on this one. This one's And then we're going to take our flap piece of designer series paper and we're going to round the bottom corners of that one too. All right, might as well do all the corner rounding at once, right? Set those aside for just a minute. Let's get some tear and tape. And so here's how I like to do this box. We're gonna put a little tear and tape on our glue tab on the inside of the box, and then on this long front panel on the inside of the box. All right, there is our adhesive, and we'll remove the liner. You can remove the liner from the inside tabs first, or remove all the liners, whatever you prefer. Depends on what kind of mood I'm in, but I'm gonna go ahead with the inside ones. I'll lift up and do the bottom of the box. The inside tabs go to the outside of the box. And then now we can remove the liner here, and these tabs will go to the back, and put our seams to the back and sandwich these in. So when you're putting treats in and out of this box, there's no little tab on the inside to get all jingled up or stop the treats. So that's why we do this way. So we'll remove these liners, sandwich this in, bring the seam to the back, and that is how we put this box together. All right, let's get some designer series paper pieces and some pebbled path layers. We're going to put our paper all around our box. I love this combination of papers. I didn't mention at the start, but this is actually a Christmas paper, and I think it's fantastic with the autumn leaves bundle. This one's called Joy of Christmas, 12 by 12 designer series paper. All right, for the front and the back of our box, we have pebbled path, and this one is 5 1/4 by 2 1/2. Then we have 5 by 2 1/4 and 2 different patterns. Oops, I think that one's upside down. There we go. Now for our flap and pebbled path, it's 5 1/4 by 1 3/4, and then 5 by 1 1/2 for our top flap. First thing we'll do is assemble them with the liquid glue the first thing we'll do is adhere them to each other with liquid glue. Now, because these are kind of darker patterns, if you want to, you can take a Stampin' Up marker and just run along the edge of the designer series paper, and it'll black out that white cardstock edge. You could use pebbled path since it's going on a pebbled path mat, early espresso, or just a black Stampin' Up, and just use that brush end. It'll give you a cleaner look. I actually wished that I had done it with this one, but it was already glued together. Sometimes I remember this step, and it really does make a difference. I mean, you can even see right here on the edge of the plaid paper where you can see the white. So just, if you've got a second, then take a second and run a little marker on the edge and black out that white when you're using such dark colors, the designer series paper. All right, there it is. I'll use liquid glue all around. Oh no, look at that beautiful pattern. It's so hard to put glue on the pretty side, isn't it? Just center them up and get them matted. Now we can add the panels to the box. Same thing, just center. You want the musical notes on the inside, and then the plaid on the flap and on the back. I love this box. It's so cozy. Gonna drop our little treats inside, and let me show you how I'm gonna do the belly band. I have 2 by 9.5, and it's a third pattern from the same designer series paper set. Let's go ahead and just swipe the edge of our paper, finish that edge. All right, let's get some tear and tape adhesive. When I'm doing a belly band, I like to put a piece on the outside and a piece on the inside. I don't measure and score, because you have to do 1/16 of an inch. And that way you have enough room to slide. And I just don't like the high math and finance. So what I do like to do though is just lay the belly band on the box and just kind of bring it around. We're gonna bring the seam to the front center of the box because our decorations are gonna cover. What I like to do is just burnish around. As I go, I just do each side. Make sure they're all nice and square by making sure that this is nice and square. And do the next one and the next one. All right, now we've got a mark, almost like a score mark, where we are going to crease. And so when we crease, we're gonna square this all up. We don't want it to go cattywampus. It's gotta be nice and square, because that plumb line is what's gonna give us a 90-degree angle, which means that this is a nice crisp straight line. You see, and without that tedious 1/16 of an inch measurements that you need to get around the box with enough room to slide. All right, so now everything's nice and crisp. Bring our box back in, close it up. And what we're gonna do here is remove the liner from each end of the strip. Ugh, picking at it with my fingernails. I always tell you guys, I hear Rhonda in my voice, or I hear Rhonda's voice in my head saying, there's tools for that, stop it. If you hang out at the craft social, you know Rhonda Sarver. And I always hear her voice in my head saying, don't pick that with your fingernails, use the tools. All right, there's our belly band. Make sure it's snug enough that it doesn't fall off, but not so snug that it slides. You see we've got our seam across the front, but no worries, we're about to make some beautiful leaves and cover that up. Let's slide these guys aside and get some cardstock, do some stamping. I have a few scraps here. The first thing I want to show you though is I did this label from Very Vanilla. And the label is one of the 2 labels in the Autumn Leaves bundle. So we've got this kind of, or actually there's 3, look at, because I forgot about this little skinny banner. There's this one, kind of more of a postage stamp. This one that I did in vanilla. And this is our Autumn Leaves bundle. You can save 10% on this, bundle up while it's still available. And we're going to use Old Olive, Early Espresso, Pecan Pie, Mossy Meadow, and Cherry Cobbler. Autumn Leaves is photopolymer, so we're gonna grab a Stampin' Pierce mat. And our ink pads are Old Olive, Pecan Pie, and Pebbled Path. I'm gonna start with some leaves here. I have no idea what these leaves are. I think that they might be elm, I'm not sure. But we're gonna do those with Old Olive on Old Olive. Give them a little bit to dry. We're gonna do Pecan Pie with this big maple leaf. I think this one's a big maple leaf. I'm not sure, I could be making stuff up. I've been known to once in a while. And then we need a greeting. So let's get our little label in here. And I'm not gonna lie, I did make an extra one of these in case I don't get it quite in the right spot, but we're gonna try for center and nice and level, nice and crisp. Let's see, that was Pebbled Path. Oh, beautiful. Hey, I don't need my spare. All right, let's get the ink pads out of here and bring in the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Now, because I want to see if I can get everything all in one pass, because that's winning, I'm going to trim these down. After this video, I might treat myself to new plates. This one's definitely gotten all the use that it's going to get. I'm going to have to line up so that that crack doesn't cause us any grief. My plates look kind of wild, but it's a very good opportunity for me to stop and tell you it's okay. You can use these plates until they crack, and even sometimes after they crack. And just make sure that you make them work. Get your money's worth out of them. I always do. All right, I need the little veins for our maple leaf, but I want to hang the excess off the edge because we still have the veins for the mossy meadow and the cherry cobbler leaves to get in here. Ooh, I think we're getting everything in one pass. Just have to see if that crack in my plate is going to give me grief. Oops, wrong one on there. The mossy meadow is the veins for our old olive leaf. And then we've got our little cherry cobbler leaves here. Is this one oak? I don't know. Don't ask me. I'm just pretending like I know something. All right, now, if you're going to use your plates until they crack and then use them a little bit more, you have to make sure that the crack isn't on any of the dies because it won't cut where that crack is. But this is going to work out just fine. That's winning. Now we're doing these little veins, and wait till you see how fine they are. If you want to add adhesive sheets to the back of this cardstock before you cut, that will make this pick and stick. So if you are not friends with liquid glue, grab some of those adhesive sheets and give them a try. I love liquid glue. I don't have any problem with it. So I always forget to grab the adhesive sheets to show them. But we've got the multi-purpose liquid glue, and we're going to do that method today. There it is, all pieces, one pass. Hooray. All right, let's decorate. I'm gonna bring my leaves in, and we're going to adhere the veins. When I do this, I'm going to hold one of the extreme ends. I'm gonna squeeze my glue bottle until there's a little drop. Do you see that little drop at the end? Then I'm going to release the pressure to about maybe half of the pressure, and you can just, if you want to, dot, just tiny little dots everywhere. Or you can do gentle pressure and just swipe, but all you need is a little bit. I have kids, and their preschool teachers used to say dot, dot, dot. You don't need a lot. But then Rhonda was here last week, and I'm going to hear her voice in my head because her grandma used to tell her that a little bit of glue sticks better than a lot of glue. So I think that that's very wise words. A little bit of glue sticks better than a lot of glue. So just do a tiny bit, and then I just press. My hands might get a little bit sticky, but I just roll. With how little we used, there shouldn't be much mess at all. And then repeat for this one. And there's our old olive leaves. Now, for our treat boxes, I love double, triple, quadruple dimensionals if you want to. You can build as high as you want for treat boxes because you're not necessarily going to try to put them through the postal service, like through the mail, where you've got to stick to that below 1/4 inch. In US, if you go over 1/4 of an inch, then it's considered a package, and the rates go up astronomically for that. So we have to kind of keep cards to 1/4 of an inch, which is usually about 1 layer of dimensionals. But for this, I'm going to start by putting my leaf on dimensionals, and you want to be very careful because it's going to go past the edge of the belly band. Keep your adhesive towards the center, and then we're going to adhere it onto the belly band. Yeah, I think that's about right. And then we've got our old olive leaf, and this one we're just going to need a little bit. And for this one, I'm going to pretty carefully put my adhesive on the belly band here, and that way I know that this is going to go on there and be secure. But I didn't just glue the belly band to the box using the dimensionals that are holding the leaf. Now we've got the leaf situated where we want it, so we can lift and add a little bit more dimensional where we know it's going to make contact with the belly band on one side of the dimensional and the leaf on the other side of the dimensional, and it's not going to glue anything closed. Let's get a little bit of adhesive here for one of our cherry cobbler leaves. And you can go past the edge of the box on the top, go past the edge of the belly band on the right or the left, but don't go past the edge of the belly band on the bottom. Don't go past the edge of the box, because otherwise it won't stand. So keep that in mind as you're going. And then we've got a second one right here, and we're going to add another dimensional. So now we're at 2 layers of dimensionals. So good. Now we're going to add a ribbon. I love this pebbled path, beautiful textured stuff, so cozy for fall. I'm going to make a loop, suitable size, and then cut away from the spool. I won't really clean up the edges until it's done and adhered, because we don't want it to ravel. But let me tell you how much ribbon this is. It's about 9 inches, so that's an appropriate amount. And now here's a little fun trick I like with the edge of the dimensionals. I'm going to take a bit from the edge. I'm going to put it behind the ribbon. I'm going to take another little bit from the edge. Let's see if that's long enough. And I'm going to put it behind the ribbon. Now we can peel the liner off of here. And you'll notice that I'm going a little bit wider than the ribbon, but not too much, because we want this adhesive to be hidden behind the label. And then we're going to put that where we want on our little montage of leaves. I love it. Grab some linen thread next. Turn the box, grab the loop. We're going to tie some linen thread around the pebbled path. It's all stuck to the box, easy to loop, swoop, tuck, and pull. Now you've got 2 gorgeous textures, natural, fall, beautiful textures. Going to take our label with a grateful heart, and I'm going to grab a little bit more tear and tape. I'm going to put 2 little lines because it's going to stick to the ribbon, but we want it to stick to the ribbon good. So we're going to remove the liner here. Grab our greeting. Oh, did you see me? I almost put it on upside down. Don't tell. We're just going to add that above that knot on the ribbon and trim the tails. Now our ribbon is secure here, and we're done messing around with it. So it's a good time to give it a little haircut. Oh, I don't like that. I need a little sharper angle. Hold on. There we go. Much better. And the last touch is a little bit of fall blingles. I'm using one of my favorites. You guys have got to know by now how much I love this Neutrals Adhesive Back Sequins. Is from the Stampin' Up! Annual Catalog. And we're going to do a lot of sparkle. I got a lot of these bronze color ones, which are my favorite. I'm surprised to have a lot of my favorite left. But these are my favorite, so I'm going to add 2 this way, and we'll do, uh-oh, I lost it, 3 up over on the other side here, and just give it a lot of great sparkle. There it is. There's our Autumn Leaves cake box. If you've got any questions about the project, you can email me, marisa@kitchentablestamper.com. To shop Stampin' Up! 24/7, buzz over to marisaalvarez.stampinup.net. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.